If you can guess what song this is, comment it down below and I will like your comment. Welcome everyone to another episode of Museful, the art podcast, your art resource. Welcome to episode 3, all about art management. I'm so excited about today's episode because I feel like art management is one of those career paths that doesn't have a bunch of sources and clear information on what art management actually means. A quick Google search of art management pops up the definition of art administration. Why? This makes no sense, to be honest with you, and does not feature a cohesive explanation. It can be understood that management and administration are completely different concepts, but let me break this down. What do these words mean in the first place? We already know what art is. If you haven't seen my last video, we talk all about what art means in this space. And if you haven't watched that video, make sure to watch it right after this one so you can get a more concise definition on what it means. And so knowing what art means in this space here in our discussion, the question becomes, what is the difference in specialization between these two words, management and administration? And so here are your definitions. Management means the process of dealing with or controlling things or people, the people in charge of running a company or organization, regarded collectively, the responsibility for and control of a company or organization. While administration means the process or activity of running a business or organization. And so taking these two definitions, what I find is that art management as I know it and have studied it more so aligns with both definitions of administration and management. Here is my university's explanation of this degree and some insight into it. The Art BA Visual Arts Management track enables students to explore the management side of the visual arts environment while providing a solid foundation in techniques and theory. A minor or approved area of emphasis is required to complement the degree or explore a different area of interest. As part of the program, some courses study the form and proportion of human figure nude models are used as a reference. And so the first part that I read is the actual definition, while the rest is a brief explanation of how the degree works when you are working towards it in school from the ground up. I'm only mentioning that because when I transferred from Valencia to UCF, if you haven't watched my academic story, you should watch that as well after this video. But a lot of my credits transferred from Valencia to UCF, so I didn't have to take a lot of those classes at UCF, which is another great reason why you want to go to community college, because I didn't have to pay for as many classes when I went to UCF, which is a much more expensive school. Anyway, so as we break apart these words and these concepts, we can come to the conclusion that art management as a degree at its core is the preparation and refinement of artistic skill and concepts to enable a person to explore the art industry. The type of exploration is purely up to the individual. So the question you need to ask yourself before embarking on this degree is, how will you implement the knowledge and skills you will gain into a career path? Or, going the other way around, does the career you are aiming for require the knowledge of the art industry and your artistic skills to fulfill your job? So on the topic of definitions, I want to define what art industry means. I realized that after the What is Art video, I never really defined on what the art industry means. And it's as general as the word art itself. And so when you look it up on Google, industry is defined as economic activity concerned with the processing of raw materials and manufacture of goods in factories, a particular form or branch of economic or commercial activity. However, I actually prefer the Cambridge definition. The companies and activities involved in the process of producing goods for sale, especially in a factory or special area. So the art industry is a branch of companies and activities that produce goods for sale, which can be considered buying, selling, trading art in the area of art. Now, with all that being said, we can get into what does a visual art manager actually do? you've gotten your degree, you're a visual arts management graduate just like me. What do we do from this point on? And so this question, even though it feels very specific, is as general as saying, what does a doctor do? Because the next question you're going to ask is, well, what kind of doctor? But at its core, you might say, well, doctors heal people. It's a very general, very PG version of the definition. So if you want to put it that way, at its core, art managers, not as a degree, but as a profession, as a career, are responsible for coordinating, controlling, and directing an artistic institution and or company. That definition, or a variation of that, should be what pops up when you first search it on the internet. What I will say is that YouTube has a lot of useful videos people have created to talk about art management, but majority of them are 2 to 4 years ago, and some involve just the monetary aspects than actual creatives casually discussing this career or degree path. So consider this video your refreshed look at art management. And so as we're discussing potential careers, I want to highlight the aspects of my degree and the requirements my university enforced while I was obtaining my degree. Keep in mind, this will differ between colleges. And so at my university, after I transferred and got my AA and I'm starting out getting my bachelor's degree at UCF, at my university, Visual Arts Management, or VAM or VAM, required the declaration of a minor and a lot of higher level studio electives, meaning you need to be taught skills in art in order to work managing people in art. That is something I respect about this degree, is that it can be utilized in many ways. But one thing it will absolutely have you practice is your artistic skills. You need to know about art to talk about art, to work in those institutions and manage people in those institutions who interact with artists and artwork and promote creativity in all people in their community on a daily basis. You need to know what you're talking about. I can go on and on about the specific requirements my degree required, but in another video, I can talk about my specific degree, all of the prerequisites and my experiences with some of the classes. If you want to hear about it, just let me know in the comments and I will be sure to make that video for you. So now we have our updated and accurate definition of what art management is as a degree and a career. So now what types of jobs does this fall into? We know at this point that this is also not an easy question to answer because art is so general and vast. So it comes down to the career or the section of the industry you want to go into. Plus, the minor you study, in my case, this was the suggested career opportunities I was given at my university. Art director, art consultant, art teacher, curator, gallery museum administration, manufacturing designer, professional artist, public artist, restoration artist, theater, film, set artist. And so these are the different career paths that you can embark that the university that I studied at was recommending when you have this degree. However, I feel like some of these career paths, again, are not specific and it is not explained how to get into that career. How do you become an art director or a museum director? Are you into museums? Are you into fashion? I'm getting ahead of myself. Indeed also has a lot of career information that I have found valuable time and time again. They have great lists of career opportunities. They have really great estimates on salaries, things like that. And so here are some of the careers that Indeed has listed with an art management degree. So we've got tour guide, auction specialist, outreach specialist, art consultant, art teacher, cinematographer, graphic designer, museum archivist, fashion designer, art director, sales manager, curriculum leader, director of marketing, videographer, historian, and architect. Believe it or not, I actually like this list better than the one that my university gave me because I think it really showcases that you could really go into anything with an art management degree. From an architect all the way to a fashion designer, which are worlds away from each other, I feel like this list really showcases how flexible this degree can fit into any career path that you set your mind to. I could go into all of these potential career paths in another video as well, but what I really want to emphasize is that there are a wide range of potential career paths, and it comes down to what you are passionate about and what potential job you see yourself doing, what minor you would focus on in college. And so at this point in the discussion, you'll notice a bit of a trend where everything is very flexible, it's very loose in terms of what options you have. And some people don't like that. Some people don't vibe with having too many options. But I feel like if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're interested in arts, art management is a great way to be able to manage yourself, have the knowledge of the business to manage yourself, and still go on your artistic endeavors. And so our next question that I was seeing all over about art management is it a good major? Is it worth it? I wanted to finish the discussion on this point because I think it's so important to be clear about this. Whether something is good or worth it is subjective, meaning people's feelings about whether this degree is good or worth it or better will vary on what people value. A quick Google search tells us that the general top aspects that people value in a job, in a career, are employee benefits, the company culture, work-life balance, career progression, opportunities for growth, the commute, livable wages, responsibilities, company values, and location. Some of these aspects are very similar, but the one aspect that is not listed that I feel is the most important thing is passion and likability. Gettysburg College states that we will work over 90,000 hours in our lifetime at our job. If you don't have a passion or at least like the work that you are committing large portions of your life towards, as good as a job may be, if your heart is not in it, you have the potential to resent your job over time, and that resentment could turn into hate in the long run. Now, that might not happen, especially if you place something else at a much higher value in your life than your own interests. And I can respect that. But these are all factors to consider when learning about art management as a degree and a potential career path. When it comes to our jobs and what we value, I know money becomes a big part of our lives. It's a part of all of our lives, my life, on a daily basis. But if you are not passionate about what you are doing, I truly feel like in the long term, you're going to eventually get sick and tired of faking it till you make it and deciding that you want to embark on what you truly feel aligns with who you are as a person. And so that's one of the things that I would like to emphasize in this episode mostly when it comes to our jobs, when it comes to our passions, our interests, and the things that we spend a lot of money in college, and a lot of time trying to figure out who we are as people and what we want to do with our life. And so that's why I feel like having a deep need, a deep love, or just a general like for the arts and the art industry and all of the things that are a part of that in order to be successful and to feel fulfilled in this degree. You can find an artistic community in your area. There are many places. You just really have to search for them, and you will meet the most amazing people. I have met amazing people in my life, and I never for a moment felt like what I did while working in these environments, in these institutions, didn't matter, and that I didn't like what I was doing. I enjoyed every second of what I was doing. Of course, there are times where the nitty-gritty work gets very annoying, but I truly enjoy being a creative professional, being an artist, and working in museums and working alongside artists. And that's how I know that I have a passion for this. And I just know that if I were doing any other kind of work right now, I don't think I would be as happy. And I think at the end of the day, how you feel is the most important. And at the end of the day, it's your life, your choices. You study what you want, you go into the career of what you want, and you know what you value most in your life. And I just hope that when you watch this video, you leave with a sense of knowing what art management is as a career, what it is as a degree, and all the work that you'll have to put into it. Yeah, and I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening and or watching this episode of Museful, the art podcast, your art resource. Remember, I post on Wednesdays 3 times a month. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you all so, so much for your support, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.